Hello again, I'm Helen Thorn, comedian and podcaster, and welcome to Weight Loss 360 with Boots Online Doctor. We're here to support you with 360-degree advice and tips as you make the little changes that can have a big difference. And this week we're talking about metabolism myths and how understanding metabolic health can help you on your weight loss journey. As always, I'm joined by the fabulous Dr. Sam Wellappili, lifestyle medicine GP, empowerment coach, nutritional and yoga therapist. Hello, Sam.
Hi Helen, great to be back.
Wonderful to have you. And of course, our fabulous registered nurse and nutritionist, Ruth Taylor.
Hi, everyone.
Hello. Let's start with a bit of a 1-minute intro. What are we going to be discussing today, Sam?
Right, so we're going to really get some clarity around metabolism and how we can work with our metabolism to really support our weight loss goals, and also how can we even improve our metabolic rate to really support those goals long term.
Everywhere you look, you get conflicting advice, and people are often saying you can't improve your metabolism. Other people are saying you can. So we're here to sort of cut through all of that and go to what the research tells us. So we want to get rid of all of the confusion and give people some really clear, supportive evidence about what we can actually do to make a difference.
Absolutely, it's such a key factor on your weight loss journey. And firstly, I think we should define what metabolism is.
Yes.
So what is this mysterious metabolism? You can think about your baseline metabolic rate as simply the energy requirement of your body and all its many processes while it's at rest.
We know that for some people this can be quite a confusing area, and it could be that people are feeling like their metabolism isn't working for them. They might find that they're struggling to lose weight, and they really think maybe the metabolism is the area that they need to put some focus and attention on.
Okay, so this is just a bit of a myth-busting thing. Someone said, "Oh, well, I've got a really high metabolism, so I just burn off food." Is that incorrect?
It's not incorrect. Say, for example, if you were very muscular, for example, you might have quite a high basal metabolic rate because at rest, your muscles, even if you're sleeping or watching TV, really not doing anything, your skeletal muscles, so your muscles need loads of energy just to kind of exist.
Right. Yes.
So for all the things that they do, your muscles are burning calories. So yes, you could have a very fast metabolism because you're super muscular and you are burning a lot of calories even when you're resting.
One of the things that we hear about metabolism, these sort of conflicting bits of information, is that if I've lost weight in the past or I've had a fad diet, that I've ruined my metabolism for life. Can we improve our metabolism?
What we know is if you have previously sort of crashed your calories down and gone on sort of like a starvation diet, then what can happen is if you lose weight really quickly, you will potentially reduce your metabolism through that whole process. When you go into that starvation diet, because what will happen is your body will almost think that you are starving, literally. So when you crash those calories down and you keep them really low over the long run, your body is going to start conserving your energy. And so that might be why people who have been on historical low-calorie weight loss diets, especially when they sort of reach that midlife point, it just does not work at all, because your body is just thinking it's starving. And so what it will do is it will start conserving energy. And obviously energy are our stored fat cells, our stored muscle cells. So it will hold on to it. We will try very much to sort of like support ourselves. It's a survival mechanism. So we find it really difficult to lose weight in that situation. And equally, if you've done that whole yo-yo dieting, I don't know if that makes sense, where you've lost weight, regained weight, lost weight. We know if you lose weight quickly, you will crash your fat, but you'll also crash down your muscle tissue. You will lose muscle in that process, very likely. And as Sam was saying, we'll use up energy very efficiently. So if we've lost muscle, then we have less calories to play with. We have less energy needs. And that's a really important point to remember. And then what often happens when people lose weight very quickly, they've done it through some crash dieting type of approach. Sorry, I don't mean to sound judgmental at all.
No.
Because I know that this is what people do, and I've done it myself. So I know
Me too.
that this is absolutely not the way to do it, because what happens is you lose muscle, you lose fat, But then you're hungry, you're bored, you've really starved yourself, you've gone without all the foods that you really enjoy, you feel very deprived, and that whole process means that, guess what? As soon as you switch out of that diet mindset, bang, you just eat all those foods and your weight will go on very quickly. The problem with that is you'll gain fat cells, you won't put the muscle back on, and so your fat burns calories more slowly than muscle does. So you will find it very difficult to maintain your weight, and also your metabolic rate, the amount of calories you need every day, will be less. So your hunger will be the same, but you can't eat that amount anymore because you'll just gain weight, and it's a really big trap.
Yeah.
So we want to help people get out of that.
Our muscle tissue is so active, and of course we know it also supports all of our activities. You know, life is much easier if you're a stronger person, if you physically have that strength. And we also need to remember, you mentioned, some people just have a fast metabolism. When we're younger, our metabolism is generally faster. It slows down as we age. And of course, when we're young, maybe we're still growing. So, you know, teenagers into your sort of early 20s, you're still growing, and that, well, kind of a little bit into your early 20s, but you're growing, and that takes a lot of energy. So your metabolic rate will be faster. So you'll be burning more calories because those calories are being used to build your body, grow your body.
Yes,
so
I have teenagers. They can eat an entire fridge.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah,
totally.
and they still look like
Where did
baby
that
giraffes.
be?
I mean, they're just out.
Yeah.
As my mother said, they've got hollow legs. It just goes through them, and and I'll look at like half a slice of cake and like, oh no, I can't put my trousers on anymore.
Yeah, and I think the other important point to say about that is, you know, you were saying our basal metabolic rate, our calorie rate reduces as we get older. We also will lose our muscle mass. You know, that's a natural process that happens unless we do something about it. So therefore it is actually harder to maintain our weight because our body composition changes as well.
Yeah, unless we become aware, and then we can do something about it. And that's what we want to talk about today, is that actually, okay, you've told us what our metabolism is. Now, what can we actually do about it? How can we actually increase that rate?
Now, one of the things I want you to help me clear up, because I mean, I get asked this a lot, is doing activity, is that going to help you lose weight? What's that combination? What's the magic combination?
Activity is really vital. Movement, exercise, especially resistance exercise, or any movement that helps us to preserve our amazing muscle tissue. Directly, it won't help you to lose weight, but what it will help you with is that metabolic rate and preserving, maintaining, sustaining the weight loss that you're doing, and with all the other changes you're making. So it's utterly vital, but it's a more subtle relationship.
I think that's really good advice, because often people associate exercise with earning the food. It can be a really damaging mindset, going, oh, well, I've done this run, so I've earned my roast, or I've done this, or I've used exercise as a punishment, rather than both eating and movement should be a joy, rather than it being a maths equation.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's a really easy mindset to get into. And I think it's worth unpacking if that is you, and if you resonate with that, to see in yourself, do I treat, you know, exercise as a punishment or as a transaction with my with what I eat that day?
Yeah, and I think we'll talk a bit, won't we, about the types of exercise, because actually, you know, I know you're a keen runner now, Helen, but I don't want everybody at home to think we all have to become marathon runners.
No,
or
gosh,
runners.
Please don't.
Yeah.
You'll bore your friends. That's for sure.
So it'd be really good to be thinking about what sort of exercise we do want to be thinking about, I think.
Yeah.
You've got to find the right movement for you. And I would never tell anyone to run anything. But I found finding inclusive spaces, like I go to an all-female gym and we do strength work there, and it's really inclusive. There's no mirrors. So we just concentrate on the movement. And someone once said to me, movement is medicine. And I really like that. I just felt like that's like taking, you know, there are no magic pills, as we know, out there, but movement is you know, it's doing you great.
Absolutely. And I think we have to really start where we are. You know, we're all in a different place in, you know, our relationship with our bodies, and where can we find that safe space where we can enjoy some exercise, some movement. And the key is to enjoy it. I think that's really key, especially when we're starting. And whether it is something like you love music, so having music when you're doing your exercise or starting your exercise is really key for you. But maybe we could think about, right, essentially any movement is exercise. It doesn't have to be in a gym, it doesn't have to be on a track, it doesn't have to be in a pool. It could be cleaning the house. Housework can be incredibly sort of, you can break a sweat.
Tell me about it. Yeah.
doing the housework quite easily, and that's great. Maybe you have some music on to make it more pleasant. Maybe it's walking the dog with a friend. Involving someone else who you enjoy the company of could be great and make you. It could be a social thing as well, and it could be a fun thing. So making that movement fun. So finding something that you love. Maybe you love dancing. You don't have to do it in public. You can dance in your kitchen. It doesn't have to be a big spectacle. You don't have to become a gym bunny. We will talk about resistance exercise, but it can be very gentle. We talk about on the webinar a lot getting started with something like baked bean cans and doing bicep curls. That is fine if that is where you are. Perfect. Some of you this might be completely new, and you might need to get a little bit of help, maybe some expertise from someone locally who could support you in getting started. Just get started. Just start thinking about your movement, maybe your steps. Maybe walking is great. It's a nice low impact activity that you can build on, and that can be social, and can be beautiful.
And you can turn that into resistance by just putting a rucksack with a bit of a weight in, and then suddenly your walk is exactly. Your walking is actually going to be bringing in a bit of additional resistance, which can really help to build that muscle. Resistance is really important at providing the sort of pressure that your muscles need to be preserved and to keep that strength. And that's the thing that we need to additionally think about, because we want those muscles to stay strong through this whole process. It's like you're saying, we could do push-ups against the wall in the kitchen, squats and lunges. I'm not very good at lunges personally, but Helen, you're probably great at those.
Oh, I'm all right. I think that's it. And one of my mantras is, if I've got 20 minutes to scroll through social media, I've got 20 minutes to go for a walk. And if you look at your whole day, you think, I don't have time for exercise. If you sort of break down how you actually spend your time, chances are you can squeeze in 15 minutes. And it doesn't have to be an hour-long thing. 3 lots of 15 minutes is fantastic. But yeah, as you said,
totally.
have a kitchen disco, or fill up, those 2-litre plastic bottles, with some sand or some water. They're fantastic. It doesn't have to be expensive. Totally. And I know some people don't like doing it in public either. That can be a big hurdle. Yeah. But doing it in your own home is wonderful as well.
Some people don't like being in the gym. I don't like being in the gym. I'd rather be outside or do something that's one-on-one in somewhere where I'm not seen. That's my thing. I don't particularly like gyms, but I know loads of people love them and loads of people don't. And it's really is a personal choice. Something that you enjoy is the best, and that might take a little bit of discovery. And we talked about being adventurous on this 360 journey to losing the weight and really feeling great. Trying to find something that resonates with you is vital, and it will mean that you're more likely to do it and look forward to it. And we talk about this on our webinars. We talk about being sedentary, and we are becoming a nation of sedentary beings, and sitting really is becoming the new smoking. So just breaking up your day with getting up, going for a walk, a bit of movement, like bringing it into your daily activities, like boiling the kettle, doing some squats or push-ups against the wall, or just putting on a tune and having a little dance in your kitchen as the kettle's boiling. Something to just break up the day and to break up periods of sitting, because a lot of us work on screens, on computers, so of course we're sitting for quite a bit. If you can do the whole standing desk situation, that could be really beneficial for you as well, just to reduce that sitting all day or changing positions, just moving the body. But really, in terms of weight loss and metabolism, we're talking about that resistance exercise, that building of the muscle tissue gently, slowly. It does not have to be something that you go all out on. No. It is gradual, it's slow, and hopefully it's fun. Hopefully you find something that's fun. So Helen, tell us, you're super fit and you exercise so much now, but how did you get started? Like right at the beginning when you were on your, those early stages of your weight loss journey, what was your first step?
Well, I found there were lots of amazing free workout sessions online, and there's lots of fabulous yoga. Yoga is something that we haven't, obviously you're an expert, Sam, but I found even having increased flexibility was a really lovely way of sort of nourishing my body. So I started with a few online workouts, and I started with even Joe Wicks and things like that, which were 15 minutes, and I could use sort of hand weights. That was really good. And that gave me the confidence to go to the gym. And then I started the Couch to 5K as well. So I had lots of different really gentle, as again, slow and gentle ways of getting into exercise. And it just gave me that confidence. And, and then I'd buy maybe a new pair of leggings, and that, there's little wins that I did just to make myself feel good. And I think, so many of us have these hang-ups from PE or, coming last in a race and all that sort of stuff. We can have some really negative thoughts around exercise. But the more I did, bit by bit, the more confidence I had. And then I could see muscle in my arms, or I could see muscle in my legs, like the small physical changes that even I could see, or, going up the stairs, getting out of the shower, getting out of bed. Those sort of things are delicious. Like that's the big highs about doing these lovely things for your body, because it's not, as you say, like having a crash diet for a week and then squeezing into a dress. No, it's everything gets changed by these small little gifts to yourself.
Yeah, and it's incremental, right? It's like small changes, those little steps along this journey to this, bigger change down the line. I think that's really where the gold is.
Now, we've been talking about sort of gradual and slow weight loss, but can I ask you about some numbers? Because I think that's what we need to hang on to a bit. Like, what should we be aiming for when we're talking weight loss?
Yeah, I think this is a really important question for us to be thinking about, and something that perhaps isn't going to be music to everyone's ears, because I know when people set out on a weight loss journey, they almost have those big numbers rolling in front of their eyes and they want to do it now. But actually that's not what we're going to advocate at all. What we really want is for people to go for that slow and steady weight loss. We know that can be part of what helps to preserve muscle mass as well. So as we've learnt, that's really important. So in terms of numbers, we'd be thinking about, £1 to £2 a week would be what we would be really thinking of, half to 1 kilo, 1 to £2. And don't forget, when you're losing weight, it's not linear. You're not going to lose that weight every week. Some weeks you'll lose more, other weeks you might lose less. You might go through periods where you don't lose any. And also the research says that as we lose weight, the speed of our weight loss will potentially slow down. That's perfectly normal. So I think we just have to be really realistic, maybe thinking about £4 a month as your sort of average. So that'd be a couple of kilos a month.
Have you got advice about when to weigh yourself, or
depends.
how often?
Yeah, it's great. It's a really good question. Again, it's really about who you are and knowing yourself well enough. There are no rules, actually, and there is so much conflicting evidence around this. So a lot of people advocate weighing weekly. Some people can't cope with weighing at all, and they use their clothes as a barometer for what's going on, or they might use a tape measure. In fact, we'll talk about that, I think, in another episode as to how important that waist circumference is. But actually, it's about you and what helps you and doesn't derail you. Like if you're the person that's going to get on the scales every day and it gives you the boost and the motivation, it doesn't trigger you to overeat when things don't look great, fine. There's no problem with doing that. For some people it works. Other people that doesn't work. It will be a very emotional journey. They can't cope with the emotions that may trigger in them. So we'd really say don't do it. This is about being kind to ourselves in this process and working out what works for us. The short answer is there is no rule, and I would say do what works for you, do what makes you feel in control and makes you feel like you've got this and that you're doing the best for yourself. So yeah, I don't know, what did you find worked for you, Helen?
Yeah, I think weighing myself first thing in the morning, and I try not to do it too many times because I think you naturally it depends on when your cycle is and all sorts of things. I'd see fluctuations, but it was better to weigh myself about once a week. And I also did tape measurements as well. And I must say, I started losing weight off my boobs in the beginning, and that's what I lost the most of, and then my waist, and then off my arms and legs. And so there's no rules. Everyone's going to lose weight in different parts of their bodies. But yeah, so I lost 30 kilos over 18 months. So we're very similar, only a couple of kilos a month. And for me, I've kept the weight off after 2 years as well. So I can recommend doing that, because I know it feels like a very far away thing, but you'll be surprised how quickly the time goes. Now, we've come to the community question, which I love, because you guys have got this beautiful community with the Boots Online Doctor. And this one comes from an older gentleman, and he says that he has limited mobility and he finds it difficult to do exercise. What options has he got?
That's a really great question. I think it's a really important point for us to be thinking about and covering. And we're often asked this in our webinars. And I was just thinking there's probably quite a few listeners here at home who are thinking, that's just not for me. I've got a lot of pain. My joints hurt. I find it really difficult to stand up even, it's an effort to get to the kitchen to make a cup of tea. I can't do anything else. There's some great sort of seated exercises that you can do. We're all in different places with this, and I think it's really important to just look at where you are and work out what you can do. So if you are somebody who perhaps is incredibly less mobile because you've got something going on with your health, even if you can do some strength training with some arm curls or just something really simple, there is no competition here. And I think that's the key, is start where you are. And it might be something that when you're feeling better and you've lost some weight, that you can pick up later on. Because if we can reduce all of the factors that are leading you to be overweight, you may find that your body is responding differently, you have less pain, and that may be an option that you can look at later on. So you can always come back to this, can't you? It doesn't have to be a now or a never. It can be something that you choose to think about later.
Absolutely. And if there are health concerns that limit your movement, getting your GP or physio's opinion on your mobility and increasing your muscle mass and strengthening a little bit is probably the best way to go, to just make sure you're doing it really safely.
So this has been a bumper episode, and I feel like we've learnt so much today and really got a real good grip on what metabolism is. But what are your top tips for the listener as we end the episode?
So I would say start slow and steady, both with your weight loss and with your movement. So it doesn't have to be exercise, it's just about getting active, getting moving. So just start from wherever you are. Remember, you're not in competition with anyone else. This is about you, and maybe setting yourself little targets, either for the weight loss or for how active you can be. And then just to remember, when you're on the scales or weighing yourself and you're focusing on losing weight, that you want to be going for that slow and steady weight loss. So we're thinking about 0.5 kilo to 1 kilo a week, or 1 to 2 pounds a week at the most. That's going to be an average of 4 to sort of 6 pounds, 8 pounds in a month, and maybe around 4 kilos in a month. And that's your maximum you really want to be aiming for. If it goes over that, sometimes it doesn't matter, as long as it sort of just steadies out over a few months, really.
Absolutely. So we really talked about preserving that muscle tissue and even building it if that's possible for you. So we know that our muscle tissue is metabolically active, so it's burning a lot of calories even when you're at rest, and that's what you really want to hold on to and build on. As Ruth said, we want to really aim for that steady weight loss so we're not losing our muscle tissue, so we want to preserve it, and if we can, to build it. I think we've said it several times through this episode, but really start where you are. It's not a competition. This is a real inner transformation, and a slow and steady approach is the best way, so that your body and mind come into this kind of coherence, so that your body is changing and your mind cognitively, you're kind of starting to change the way you view yourself. Maybe you are the sort of person who enjoys a form of exercise that gets you a little bit out of breath, helps you build your muscles. This is a new chapter for you, perhaps. This is something completely new, and we're here to support you, and I really hope that this week's episode has been helpful.
I've learned a lot. I'm going to go back and pump some more iron, as you said. More soup cans, that's it. Cans of beans in a bag. I remember that. That's my takeaway. So that's the end of the episode. Weight Loss 360 is a Fresh Air production with Boots Online Doctor. The producer is Ollie Seymour. We've got a bonus episode coming your way in a few days' time, which answers one of the questions I think a lot of us are always keen to know. Is my metabolism slow? So look out for that one on Friday. And then next week we'll be exploring how to eat for weight loss, with the emphasis on how there, not just what. We'll be thinking about how we snack, planning, and even if fasting might suit us. Thanks for listening. We're here to cheer you on, and remember to follow Weight Loss 360 wherever you listen to your podcasts. Make sure you check out Boots' online doctor weight loss service for a whole load of other amazing advice and for free resources, including a weekly live webinar where our experts can answer your questions. The information shared here is evidence-based to help you achieve and maintain weight loss. However, if you have any health concerns or questions, please consult your GP before making any changes to your diet or lifestyle. Remember, every small change is a big step towards a healthier, happier you.